Hey you guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name's Ruby, I live in New York City, and this is my lifestyle channel. So if you like what you see, please be sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. We are trying to reach 6K, fingers crossed, hopefully by the end of September or somewhere around there. I post new videos 3 times a week, so there's always new content to binge. And also, if you want additional content from me, be sure to go follow me on TikTok. I post on there daily. It's a lot of beauty and lifestyle content, also a little bit of theater stuff as well. Today, I wanted to do a sit-down, chatty video. I feel like I've been doing a lot of makeup tutorials or vlogs. It's been like one or the other recently. In a lot of my vlogs, though, I do incorporate a lot of like health, wellness, and fitness content. I show you guys like my workouts or just kind of like what I'm doing to really like promote health and wellness in my life. But today I wanted to sit down and chat with you guys about my current and updated workout routine and kind of how it's changed since my back injury that happened earlier this year. I wanted to make this video though because I thought A, it might be helpful for people who are maybe in my position as far as recovering from a pretty intense and severe back injury, but I also just wanted to update you guys in terms of what I'm doing as far as working out and fitness goes. So without further ado, let's just jump in. I have a feeling this is going to be a very, very chatty video, so I kind of want to keep this intro as short and as sweet as possible. Okay, so first let's talk about what I was doing prior to my back injury that happened at the beginning of May of this year. So prior to my injury, I was working out 5 to 6 days a week, and I was working out with a personal trainer, and we were focusing primarily on just like weightlifting and being in the gym. I am super, super lucky. I have a gorgeous like luxury gym in my apartment here in New York City, so I didn't have to pay like anything additional to be going to a gym that often. I was lifting heavier than I ever had before. I was just feeling really good. And it's never really been about like the physique for me. It's been more so about just like how I'm feeling and if I'm feeling good and I'm feeling strong, which I was. My personal trainer was virtual. She obviously like did not come to me for a multitude of reasons. One, she wasn't based in New York City, but also like COVID. But that's what I was doing. It was just a lot of like weightlifting days, and then on my rest days, I tried to make them active rest days, so I would make sure to walk like an extra mile in the city or do something on the treadmill in the morning or at night. So that's just like a quick little summary of what I was doing beforehand, because obviously now things have changed, otherwise I like wouldn't be making this update video. So let's cut to May. If you are new here, you definitely have not heard this story. If you've been watching my videos for a hot second, you probably have, but I'm just going to talk about it again because it is kind of an important part in this story. So May 5th, like 4th or 5th, I believe it was, I, out of nowhere, threw my back out, and it turns out I got a herniated disc in my lower back. If you know about like back injuries at all or the spine, it was around the L4, L5 area, which if you guys don't know is kind of the worst place to slip a disc, because when it's at the base of your spine, it literally affects everything. For the first 2 weeks of my recovery, honestly, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't live with my boyfriend Kevin, because he had to help me with everything. Literally everything. From putting on my pants and shoes to being the only one to like bend down and feed Dakota, cook us dinners, take her out on walks. And I do just want to say that my injury was not caused by working out or going to the gym. Sometimes that's definitely what happens in terms of like herniated discs. You know, people lift too heavy with improper technique and then they get really, really bad injuries. For me, that wasn't the case. I was part of the very, very small percentage of people who literally just get this injury out of nowhere. I wasn't even doing anything like impressive when it happened. I was literally, if you want to know, I was standing in front of my mirror putting on chapstick, and all of a sudden my back just went, and it was easily the worst pain I've ever been in my life. Now, when you slip a disc, when you get a herniated disc, the recovery time is different for everybody. Typically, it's anywhere from around like 4 to 12 weeks. At least that's what I was told by my PT person and my chiropractor. My injury took a little bit longer though. It was a really, really, really intense disc herniation. So I was out of commission for a really long time. And if you've kept up with me for a while, you would have seen that. I literally like couldn't do anything. And so I had to take a very unexpected break from YouTube because physically it was even just too much for me to sit up and film a video and then find a comfortable position to like edit on my computer. And so obviously that meant no working out, other than like physical therapy exercises, but that's very, very different from what I was doing prior. So from the beginning of May, when the injury happened, to about the end of July, beginning of August, I was not able to work out at all. For me, working out and fitness is so much less about the physical results that you may or may not see. It is so much more about just the mental benefits of it. And so not having that, like not being able to work out every day, day, and not being able to start my day off on like that right foot was so mentally difficult, exhausting, draining, all of the above. Because for me, like, working out in the mornings is how I get like my adrenaline going. It's how I make sure that my day is going to start off on the right foot. I feel so much more positive and so much better after I complete a workout. So not having that in my life was really, really, really tough. And it felt like an extension of me was missing. As crazy as that sounds, but like, if you're really into working out and you're really into fitness, you get it. And I knew that eventually I was going to be able to work out again. That's honestly what I just had to keep telling myself was, Ruby, eventually you will get back to where you were. It's gonna be okay, but for right now, you just have to be diligent. You have to follow through with your physical therapy. You have to follow through with your chiropractor appointments, and that is the only way you're gonna be able to get back to where you were. And it was tough. There were days where it just didn't feel like this injury was ever gonna go away. Even to this day, like, I'm about 95% of the way healed, but there are still definitely days every now and then where I'll wake up and my back feels like it is right back to square one, which I have a lot of friends who have had herniated disc injuries, and a lot of them have told me that like they were in that exact situation. It took them about a full year to be like completely recovered, which I definitely like think is probably going to be my journey, just considering like the way things have kind of panned out. I'm very grateful to be 95% of the way healed, but I do think that that extra like 5% is going to take a little bit longer. I'm going to kind of skip over the rest of the back recovery process just to get into like the actual meat of the video. But if you guys want a separate video or more content about like how I healed my disc injury, please let me know. I know that typically it's not an injury that a lot of like young, physically healthy people get. So if you would like me to make a video about my experience, I think that that could be really helpful, but only if you guys want to see it. So anyways, then let's jump to the beginning of August. I was finally given the green light to start working out again, and I was so excited. But I knew that it was going to be a challenge because obviously I hadn't been in the gym or any like group fitness setting in quite a few months. So I knew that muscle was probably lost a little bit. I knew that I'd probably have to start with like lighter weights, lower intensity, but I was just so excited to be told that I could get back into exercise and working out again. And although the pandemic is still going on, things in New York City are slowly reopening again, and pretty much every single gym, group fitness place is requiring vaccines. And even though technically once you're vaccinated, the masks are optional, I still wear my mask everywhere. But because things are opening back up, I knew that I had options in terms of like what I wanted to try first when it came to like getting back into working out. Oh, and I should say one more thing to mention. During my recovery process, I had obviously like put working with my personal trainer on pause, but over the summer, she actually started working with a new company. So we decided to like part ways. Even though I loved working with her, just like for the time being, it wasn't conducive to like what my body needed. So anyways, I was kind of like starting fresh. I had no personal trainer. I had no idea what my body like was gonna be capable of right off the bat. However, I knew that the one thing I didn't want to start with was weightlifting. Even though I absolutely love it and I love just being in a gym setting, I knew that weightlifting would probably not be conducive to my healing process. Just because a lot of the exercises and like depending on the weights you're using, it can put a lot of unnecessary pressure on your back, even if you have really good technique. So I just decided, okay, for now, we're gonna find like another outlet. After doing some of my own research and also consulting with like my recovery team, so to speak, I decided that the best options for me were going to be cycling and Pilates, a mix of the two. Obviously, with cycling, you get great cardio benefits, and also, at least for the style of cycling that I enjoy, you're up out of the saddle, out of the seat for the most part, so it's not putting pressure on your lower back. And then I thought it would be great to pair it with Pilates because Pilates is something that is more on the lower impact side of things, but it's fantastic for strengthening and toning muscles. So that way with the Pilates, I was getting some like strengthening and conditioning, and then with cycling, I'm getting my cardio. Figuring out like what cycling method I was gonna do was really easy. Again, I feel very, very lucky. In the gym in my apartment building, we have a ton of Peloton bikes, so that's what I've been using. I haven't been going to a studio or anything like that. Also just because I am still trying to like limit my exposure, like going to places here in New York City. So as much as I would love to go to a SoulCycle class right now, I figured, you know what, if I have the equipment at my gym, let's just stick with that. Pilates, on the other hand, I knew I was gonna have to go somewhere because we don't have Pilates equipment at my gym. Of course, I could do like mat Pilates, but for me, in the past when I've gone, I knew that, you know, going to a reformer or mega former class is what works best for me. So then came the journey of finding a Pilates studio, which if you guys have watched my most recent vlogs, you would have seen me kind of like on the beginning half of that journey. I instantly knew it was gonna come down to 2 studios based on what I had read about and also just like what I thought would work best for me. And those 2 studios were SLT, which stands for Strength, Lengthen, and Tone, and Solid Core. Both huge Pilates companies. They're not just here in New York City. They're pretty famous like all throughout the country. They have studios in most like major cities here in the US, obviously not in every single state, but they do have like a pretty decent like reach, I guess. I don't know what word I'm looking for. So I started with SLT first because I have a couple friends who are instructors at SLT, so I figured let me go somewhere where I know some of the instructors already and I'll feel a little bit more comfortable, and also I'll be able to like really get the technique so that I don't end up injuring myself again. I really loved SLT. I love the environment. I think it's a great place to kind of get your bearings when it comes to Pilates. The instructors are incredible, super supportive, the class flies by, and so that's what I stuck with for the first few weeks of my like journey back into working out. But as much as I loved SLT, and this is not like bashing the company at all, this is just my personal preference, I was missing a little bit of, I don't know, just added intensity. I'm somebody who, I want to leave a workout, even if it's low impact, drenched in sweat, feeling like I just like conquered the world. I like to be pushed. I like for it to be hard, especially because I'm not a newbie to fitness. Even after my like 3-month hiatus, I wasn't coming in as a newbie. And so as much as I loved SLT, like I truly still love it, and I do take the occasional class there, I wanted to try out something else. Like I was ready to kind of like continue looking, which then brought me to Solid Core. Solid Core is basically, it's Pilates, but it's not Pilates like you've ever seen before. I would say at its base, it's definitely Pilates, but it's also a super intense conditioning class. They incorporate weights, they incorporate bungees, and it is 50 minutes of just like pure intensity, but like in the best way possible. I took my first class. I literally knew nobody, but I kind of love that because the beauty of like a fitness studio is when you start going somewhere regularly, you become a part of the community, you see familiar faces, and you start like building your own little community. So what I did was Solid Core had a 2-week unlimited like pass for those who were new to the studio. It's actually a really good deal if you're looking to try Solid Core. It was $99 for 2 weeks of unlimited classes. Pilates in New York City is really expensive. I know that if you live in like a smaller town or a smaller city, it's a little bit more reasonable, but like New York, LA, Chicago, it's super expensive. So 2 weeks of unlimited classes for $100 is really not that bad, at least in my eyes. I took my first Solid Core class and instantly I was totally hooked. I was like, okay, this is definitely the workout for me. Both SLT and Solid Core are great in terms of really adjusting the workout to make it work for you. So obviously like my first week taking classes there, also combined with the fact that like I'm still healing from a really intense injury, I wasn't going like full throttle, fully advanced like the people who've been taking hundreds of classes there. But I still felt like I was getting such a good workout. My body was like on fire by the end of class. I would be like shaking, but again, in the best way possible. I also found that I just really loved the atmosphere because it kind of reminds me of like if SoulCycle were Pilates. It's a super dimly lit studio. It almost has like club lighting, which I know sounds really funny, but it's like dark enough that you can't see the person next to you, but you can still like check in on yourself in the mirror. The music's great, the vibes are great, the instructors are great, and honestly, like just from a financial point, the like monthly unlimited package at Solid Core is a little bit more affordable than SLT. Affordable is the wrong word because they're both like luxury expenses, if that makes sense, but like Solid Core was definitely a little bit less money-wise than SLT. And also convenience, I have a Solid Core much closer to me than I do an SLT, so I kind of just decided that Solid Core was the one that I was gonna go with. So after my 2-week trial was over, first of all, in terms of just like physical results, I could not believe how quickly my body toned up again. Now that's not to say like during that 3-month hiatus of not working out, I lost like all of my tone and all of my muscle, but I definitely did lose a little bit just from like having limited mobility. But after those 2 weeks at Solid Core, I feel like I kind of got all of it back, which is a reason that I've always loved Pilates. Anytime I've done it in the past, it has toned my body faster than like any other fitness class, workout schedule. And that combined with just like how great I felt after every class and how much I enjoyed the environment really pushed me to purchase like the monthly unlimited membership. And while it is an investment, I just kind of felt like, you know what, if it's making my body feel good, because when recovering from a disc injury, you have to be really careful with like what you do afterwards. And so I figured if my body can handle this and my body is feeling good, then this is what I just like need to commit to for now. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm doing cycling combined with Pilates 5 to 6 days a week, depending on what I feel like my body needs. There are some weeks where I only feel like my body needs 1 day off, and then there are some weeks where I'm like, we need 2 days. But I would say typically I usually only take 1 day off a week. So a typical week now looks like, for me, 4 to 5 days of solid core Pilates and 1 to 2 days of cycling on my Peloton. I do just want to mention that I don't actually take Peloton classes. I build my own playlist and kind of create my own ride just because I've been cycling for a really, really long time. But as far as the equipment, I use a Peloton bike because that's what's offered at the gym in my apartment. So I've been doing this routine, like I said, for about a little over a month, and honestly, I feel incredible. I feel super strong. My back is feeling better and better every single day, which is truly just like such an amazing thing to finally be able to say. And cycling those 1 to 2 days a week combined with just like walking a lot in New York City is giving me the cardio that I need. And the Pilates is helping to just add that strengthening aspect into my workout routine, but also the stretching and the lengthening that's also super important, not just from like when you're recovering from an injury, but also just in general. It's really important to stretch and make sure like you're constantly like lengthening your muscles as well. Also, side note, physically, I feel like my posture has never been better since starting this like solid core journey. From the recovery process of my back, I feel like I developed a little bit of an unhealthy posture just because for those first initial weeks of healing, standing up completely straight was not comfortable in my lower back at all. So I purposefully had to walk with a slight, not hunch, but just like slightly not perfectly like aligned. And so then like coming out of that recovery, I feel like I had, you know, picked up on some bad habits that I needed to kind of fix. And Pilates is really, really great for improving your posture. And I feel like recently, every time I've walked like in front of a mirror, I'm like, oh my God, like my posture is incredible. I feel like I'm just right back into dancer mode. Anyways, you guys, that is my current workout routine, how it's changed since my back injury, what I'm doing to make sure that the workouts I'm doing are not going to give me another back injury. I hope this video was helpful, and if nothing else, I hope that you were at least a little entertained. I know that this was a very chatty video, so I hope you got like a drink and a snack while you watch this. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and also click that subscribe button down below. Again, like I said, our next goal for this channel is to hit 6,000. Follow me on all of my other social media networks. The links are always listed down below. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, I post on there daily. Follow me on Clubhouse. Check out my Amazon shop. I love you guys so much. I hope that you all are staying safe, happy, and healthy. And I will talk to you guys again very, very soon in my next video. Okay? Bye, everybody.